For years, people have debated what would happen if all the glaciers and polar ice caps on Earth melted away. Some believe it would turn our planet into a real-life version of Waterworld, minus Kevin Costner's gills. Others argue that such a scenario is impossible. But one thing is clear, our planet is warming up, and the consequences are already knocking on our doorstep. But before we jump straight into panic mode, let's take a step back and understand Earth's history with ice and climate change. Because, believe it or not, our planet has gone through extreme deep freezes and fiery meltdowns long before humans even existed. Earth's icy past, a giant snowball? Did you know that between 2.4 and 2.1 billion years ago, Earth went through a deep freeze known as the Huronian glaciation? Picture the entire planet looking like an ice cube in a cosmic cocktail. This extreme cold spell was likely caused by a 250 million year break in volcanic activity. No eruptions meant less carbon dioxide, which led to a weaker greenhouse effect, and boom, Earth turned into an intergalactic snow globe. But wait, there's more. During the Cryogenian period, around 720 to 635 million years ago, Earth experienced its deepest freeze ever. Some scientists believe that the emergence of complex life forms triggered this ice age. How? When large multicellular organisms perished and sank to the ocean floor, they took a lot of CO2 with them, making the greenhouse effect even weaker. In other words, life itself might have caused an ice age. Talk about a self-sabotaging planet. Today's meltdown. What's going on with the ice? Fast forward to modern times, and the situation has flipped. Instead of another deep freeze, we're facing a massive meltdown. The Arctic today is not the same as it was even a century ago. In fact, temperatures there are rising at twice the normal rate, and the evidence is melting literally right before our eyes. Since 1945, about 87% of glaciers on the Antarctic Peninsula have retreated and sea ice is shrinking by 13% per decade. Scientists originally predicted that the Arctic Ocean would be ice-free in summer between 2040 and 2050. But surprise, recent research suggests it could happen even sooner because previous estimates overestimated ice thickness by 25% due to a misunderstanding of how salty snow cover affected satellite readings. Who knew snow could be so sneaky? So what happens if all the ice melts? If every glacier, ice sheet, and frozen mountaintop melted overnight, sea levels would surge by over 215 feet, drowning cities like New York, London, Miami, and Tokyo while displacing over 2 billion people. The absence of ice to reflect sunlight would cause extreme global heating, unleashing super hurricanes, monstrous tornadoes, and scorching heat waves. Ocean currents, which regulate global temperatures, would spiral into chaos, leading to unpredictable seasons, severe droughts, and catastrophic floods. Marine life would suffer immensely as warming waters deplete oxygen levels, causing mass die-offs, collapsing ecosystems, and destroying seafood supplies. With the worst consequence? The release of vast amounts of methane trapped in Arctic permafrost, triggering an unstoppable greenhouse effect that would accelerate climate change, intensify wildfires, devastate agriculture, and push humanity toward a future of extreme survival. Earthquakes, anyone? Here's something that might surprise you. Ice is heavy, really heavy, and when you suddenly start removing billions of tons of it from a landmass, the Earth underneath it reacts in a way most people don't consider by springing back up. This process, called glacial isostatic adjustment, happens when ice that has been pressing down on the land melts and the land starts to rebound. This rebound doesn't happen quietly. It can actually trigger massive earthquakes. In fact, a recent study found that some parts of Antarctica are rising 5 times faster than scientists had originally expected. If this trend continues, in just 100 years, the land beneath Antarctica could rise as much as 32 feet higher than it is right now. So not only are we dealing with cities sinking under rising sea levels and extreme weather events, but we could also have earthquakes and land masses shifting in ways we've never seen before. Talk about an unsettling future. How much ice have we already lost? So how much ice has already melted, you ask? Well, brace yourself. Since 1992, Antarctica has shed a staggering 2.7 trillion tons of ice, contributing nearly half an inch to global sea level rise. At first glance, half an inch may not seem like much, but when you consider the sheer size of Antarctica, it's actually pretty alarming. Let me break it down for you. Every second, Antarctica loses ice equivalent to 3 Olympic-sized swimming pools, and every 40 hours, a mind-boggling 1 gigaton, that's 1 billion metric tons, of ice vanishes into the ocean. Just think about it: each second, every hour, and every day, this massive amount of ice is being turned into water, and this process shows no signs of slowing down. Between 1992 and 2017, Antarctica has lost 2,710 gigatons of ice, and the trend is only accelerating. The effects of this ice loss have the potential to drastically reshape coastlines, flood cities, and cause irreversible damage to ecosystems in ways that scientists are still trying to fully understand. This is no small matter; it's a ticking clock, and we're already seeing the first signs of the consequences. Can we stop this? So, can we stop this catastrophic ice loss? Unfortunately, halting it completely is looking like a tall order at the moment. The primary culprit behind the accelerating ice melt? Human activities, specifically the burning of fossil fuels. This has caused CO2 levels to rise at an alarming rate. Over the past 150 years, atmospheric CO2 has skyrocketed from 280 parts per million to over 400, which has significantly ramped up global warming and, in turn, the ice melt. Completely reversing this trend might be impossible in the short term, but the good news is that we can still slow it down. How? Well, that starts with the little things. Adopting sustainable practices, like using reusable products, recycling, and reducing our reliance on fossil fuels by opting to walk, bike, or take public transport, can all help reduce our carbon footprint. Every bit counts, but the biggest step we can take is pressuring governments to implement stronger climate policies. After all, if we wait until rising sea levels are high enough to require snorkels just to get to work, it'll be way too late to undo the damage. We need action, and we need it now, before we're all standing knee-deep in the consequences. A twist in the tale. Could the sun save us? Hold on tight, because here's a twist that might just surprise you. Could the sun actually save us? While we're not talking about a full-on rescue mission from our giant ball of gas, scientists predict that a grand solar minimum might occur between 2020 and 2070. Essentially, this means a period of decreased solar activity. The last time this happened, between 1645 and 1715, Earth experienced what we now call the Little Ice Age, a period of cooler temperatures and harsher winters. Now, before you start picturing snowstorms in July, let's temper the excitement. It doesn't mean we're heading for another ice age, but it could still slow down the rapid pace of global warming, giving us a temporary break. Think of it like nature hitting the pause button on some of the rising temperatures. This slight slowdown might just be the breathing room we need to take more meaningful action on climate change before things get out of hand. The question is, will we use this potential window wisely, or will we waste it, only to regret it later? Let's hope we can figure it out before the temperature rises again. If this deep dive into Earth's icy past and melting future blew your mind, imagine what else we could uncover together. Don't let this be the last time you hear about mind-blowing science. Hit that like button, subscribe for more eye-opening content, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And hey, drop a comment below. What's the one climate fact that shocked you the most? Let's keep the conversation going.